Welcome, guys, and welcome to Money Talk. Happy Wednesday, happy Wednesday. Welcome to another great Money Talk. As you guys know, today we're here to talk concepts and the importance of understanding the dime method, right? The dime method is so important for us to learn, and today we're going to talk about that today. Today we're going to talk about the importance of running a dime method and learning why the dime method is so important and why it makes sense that we should understand this. So all week, we've been talking about concepts and the importance of understanding concepts, right? And why must we become good at learning financial concepts? So, the first thing we love to talk about is the fact that, we must also remember our affirmations, right? What is your affirmations, right? What is your affirmations? When it comes to finance, what are your financial affirmations? What is your day-to-day affirmations? What are you saying to yourself, right? What are the words that you tell yourself when it comes to your finances? Are you saying that I am smart? Are you saying that I am financially free? Right? Are you saying that I have an endless abundance of income on a monthly basis? Are you saying that all things good is attracted to me? What are you saying to yourself? I like to give you guys an assignment. Whatever that you want in your life, I need you to put, I have it. And I want you to thank the man above and say, thank you for giving me these things. All right? I want you to say, I will, I ams, I have. Right? Because these are the words that have more power. These words have more power than anything else you do in your life. And it's important. Once again, I will say this again. It is important that we learn how to speak greatness into our weakness. You got to speak greatness inside of your weakness. Because when it comes to the dime method makes you great. It makes you so great. Right? But you, my friends, you guys have to look at it and say why it's important. Remember, once you know the why, the how will come. I'll say that again. Once you know the why, the how will come. So why must you know the dime method? Well, it comes down to this very same words. Why do you think you own life insurance? And if you don't own life insurance based upon the dime method, then I hate to tell you that you don't own life insurance then. If you don't own it based upon understanding the dime method, then I'm sorry, you bought death insurance. Or someone gave you this false analogy of something that probably don't truly exist. At least in your mind, it doesn't. That's why most of the time, people, when they think about life insurance, it's the first thing they get rid of. When times get tough, they start paying the premium. Because they have no idea why they need to own life insurance. People think that life insurance for when you're dying. Once again, they never understood the dime method. So what is the dime method? What does dime stands for? Right? What is dime stands for? Right? So here's the thing. Dime is an important thing you must learn. And let me tell you what dime is. Dime method is used to calculate how much insurance that you need. All right. The dime method is used to calculate how much insurance you will need. So how do this calculation work? It's simple. The way the calculation work is like this. They take the word dime, D-I-M-E, dime, and just literally calculate all the debts that you have, right? All your credit cards, your student loans, all the debts, your car note, all the debts that you currently have at the moment, right? Then the I stands for income. They take what is your annual net income times that by 10. And that's used for income replacement, right? And then they calculate what is the balance on your mortgage. The M stands for mortgage. What is the balance on my mortgage, right? And then they take the E stands for education, which is educational planning for your children. So they calculate, well, what is the tuition for per child? And then times that by the child, right? The amount of children that you have. That's the dime. That's how simple it is for you to understand how much life insurance you need to own, right? And I'm telling you guys, until you understand that whole theory of why. So now, why would you want to own life insurance? To cover all your debt, your income replacement, the balance in your mortgage, educational planning for your children. It comes back to this. It comes back to this mindset where I talked about, where he says, plan for the future, right? But live for today. Or better yet, this other one, you may live too long, and you also may die too soon. The problem is, do you have something in place for either of those events that may happen in your life? Do you have money in place for if you live too long? And do you have money in place for if you die too soon? Right? So owning life insurance is not just about, oh yeah, I want $1 million policy. Why? You got to use the dime method. So dime, when you calculate all your debts, why must you own life insurance and think about the debts that you have? Here's exactly why. You ready? Here's exactly why you need to own life insurance. The reason why you need to own life insurance to take care of all your debts is because the fact that if you live or die, those are your debts. These are your debts. You accumulate these debt in your lifetime, and it shouldn't be anybody else's responsibility to pay them off. It is not right, and it's not fair, and it's irresponsible. That's why we talked about the concept of build wealth with responsibility. You acquired all these debt, and then when you pass away, you don't want to take care of them too? You just think because you died, these debt disappear, the government stopped. No, you're messing up the economy. If you even want me to take it a step further, your debt don't just disappear. This is something that a company could file as a loss, and who you think take up the tab? Our grandkids, our future generation. It adds to the debt, our national debt. It doesn't disappear. Debt don't disappear. So you may say, oh, the company's going to write it off because I died, so I don't owe anything. No, somebody has to pay for that. It may not be you. It may not be your family. But someone in our economy will pay for that. And 9 times out of 10, it's people that have no reason paying for it. So that's why you own life insurance. Don't become a memory, or better yet, don't become a burden on our country and on your family. Become a legacy. At least become a memory. bare minimum. What about income? What about income? Why must you have income replacement? If you have children or a spouse, I'm going to say this again. If your spouse does not have 10 times the income in place, if God forbid something happens to either one of you, y'all better sit down with somebody tomorrow and get that straightened out. Because I don't know about y'all, but I want to make sure if something happened to my better half, I would love the fact that 10 times her income will be there for me. Not saying no names, I'm just saying. Right? Because I know if I go away, 10 times my income gonna be there. It's not a competition. I'm just saying. It's only fair. If I did it, you do it. If I'm doing it, you should do it. Because not only for your spouse, but what about your children? If you have young children, what happens if you don't wake up tomorrow? What happens if you don't wake up tomorrow? Now what? Now your spouse not only miss you, the kids miss you. Now he has to pick up more hours to work to take care of the kids, the house, and everything on their own. And their college planning. How is that fair? Then what about the mortgage? What about the mortgage? The mortgage. Why must you feel that the house should not be paid off if something happens to you? I love when I was talking to this couple once, right, babe? Mm-hmm. And I said to her that very same thing, right? And she looked at me and she said, if I pass away, I'm not leaving money for him to pay off the house and move in a new wife. And I said, but what if he passed away? Would you want him to pay off the mortgage? She's like, yeah. And I'm sitting there like, these are the reasons why. I was like, man, I don't know if this marriage thing would ever be for me. That don't sound right. Right? These are things I've encountered over my career, He or she is planning for his death, but she don't want him to plan for hers. Guys, that's not fair. That's not fair. That's your responsibility if you're dead or alive. Because you made a commitment at the time when you're alive. Don't think your commitment has a waiver when you die. No. Your commitment should be your commitment when you're alive or dead. What about the educational planning for your children? Oh, they're going to have to figure it out. I hear people talk like this. They're going to figure it out. They're smart. They'll get a scholarship. Really? You think a scholarship and your kids working hard is the most responsible thing you should do? Instead of putting that extra 100,000, 200,000 for their school. It doesn't break a sweat off your back to do that. So the fact that when we think about the dime method, it always comes back down to this. Are you building your wealth with responsibility? Are you being a responsible adult? Right? Are you being a responsible young adult? Are you being a responsible adult? Are you being a responsible parent? Are you being a responsible spouse? I almost think that should be mandatory in marriages. Like the same way they have you go sign that paper at the courthouse to get that license to get married, I think they should have a section in there that says it's mandatory to have a certain amount of insurance in place too. Because I know marriage is like a contract. right? That's why getting a divorce is so hard. You can't breach the contract, right? But guys, on a serious tip though, the dime method is important. The dime method is so important for you to learn, for you to understand, for you to talk to your spouse about, for you to talk to your children about. You know, I tell people that when they owning life insurance, right? Especially young people, they be like, "Oh, I'm good. I don't need it." And then you use the dime method and say, "Hey, how much debt would you accumulate in education? How much debt you think you accumulate when you own a house? How much debt you think you accumulate on a credit card? How much?" And these kids will talk to you about that. You say, "Great. What kind of income you want to make in the future?" "Oh, I want to make $100,000 a year." Great. Is that net or gross? Net. Great. Right? How much would your house be? Are you going to be able to buy cash, or are you going to mortgage or finance it? "Oh, I'm going to finance it." Great. How many kids you plan to have? Don't wait for them to have kids. How many kids do you think you want to have? "I want to have 3 kids." Great. What school would you love your child to go to? "Oh, I want them to go to Yale or Princeton." Okay, look up the price for a Princeton. Times that by 4. Times that by the amount of kids they want to have. That right there give them the calculation for how much insurance they may need. So even if they don't have children, let them know, get it while they're younger because the rate is cheaper. Now, that woman or that young man becomes the ideal spouse. You know, I'm telling you, there's a new way to date now. I'm gonna give you guys the new way to date. If anybody on here on the dating section, I'm gonna give you the new way to date. My dating section goes through finance. Like that first date, I'm like, "Hey, you know, so I'm using the financial foundation as my guide. So what protection do you currently have in place? Do you learn how to manage your debt? Whatever debt do you have? Do you currently have any emergency funds? Do you invest? Really? Wow. I want to know. I want to know about you. I want to know about your finances because I want to know if my better half is a liability or she's an asset. I want to know, is my woman going to be a liability or an asset? Because pretty in the face don't mean you're pretty in your finances. I don't care about the pretty face. I care about a pretty finance. Because I know what I'm bringing to the table. Right? These things are important. You know, I have a funny story I would have tell you guys, but I'm not going to tell it today. Because I got audited. But just know that audit went great. Uh-huh. I ain't going to put you on the spot, baby. But, guys, we got to be in a position where we're winning the money game. And it's things like these concepts called the dime method is important. It is very, very important. And as long as we keep winning, keep progressing, keep dominating, keep learning, we too will be ahead of the money game. All right. So I don't know if anybody have any feedbacks about using the dime method, or if you have any feedback or any questions or anything that you'd like to share this morning pertaining to the subject that we talked about today with the dime method, because it's such a simple concept that could prevent you from being oversold or underserved, right? And it helps you to know where you are. Because if you don't know, do I have enough coverage? Now you know how to do that. Once again, let me do a recap. So in the meantime, while I'm doing recap, you go to the participant section if you'd like to share. If you'd like to say something, I'd love to hear from you guys this morning. You can just press that yes button or raise your hand. Keep it there. So that way I could call on you to share as I go over the recap. So recap. DIME. The DIME method, the D stands for all your debt, right? You calculate all your debts that you have. Anything that's a debt, right? The I stands for the income replacement. Your income replacement is based upon what is your net annual income, then times that by 10 for the 10 years that you would replace your income for. They said it takes an average of 10 years for a spouse to really bounce back from your passing, or sometimes even the children. At least give that spouse enough time to make that transition of you passing, so your income doesn't disappear even if you disappear. And as far as the M stands for mortgage, right? For your mortgage, so that way you can be able to replace, pay off the balance of the mortgage. So whatever the balance of the mortgage is, you want to make sure that you have that in coverage, right? And as the coverage decreases, there'll be more money that's left over, depending if you don't pass away in the very same year that you did it, right? And then, as far as educational planning, you have enough there for the children educational planning. So if God forbid something did happen to you in the beginning, there will be enough money to pay for the kids' tuitions for school, right? But more importantly, what if nothing never happens? Now that's more money later on in the years to come. That's why they said it's either you live too long or you die too soon. And if you die too soon, money will be there to take care of things in place of you. They have this saying that your life insurance, it doesn't come alive until you pass away. And it takes place of you, not physically, but financially. It becomes the role of you. So you still alive, because you're still able to take care of your financial obligations, even through death. All right? So that's very important for you guys to know when it comes to the DIME method. So any questions or comments? I know let me see here. All right, our first up, we have Swan. Good morning, Swan.
Good morning, Keyon. You are so funny. Good morning, everyone. I'm glad Chantal passed the test. She's a beautiful person. And you're great. So I know y'all gonna have y'all future set up, and it's gonna be very bright. But I love sharing the DIME method with people because they always think that, oh, I got insurance on my job. And I'm like, great. I mean, I have it too, but it's still not enough. Let me show you this. And then once they see it, they're like, oh, okay. But then of course the number scares them, like, oh, you need $1 million. But I let them know you can work up to that. You start where you are and you grow it. And that's where, making extra income comes into play, because you definitely want to get to that number, because I'm still not there. Been in the business almost 2 years, but I'm in a better place now than I was 2 years ago. And I know that in the next 2 years, I should have my financial foundation set up, the way it needs to be. I'll be at my FIN number and all that. That is the goal. So once you have a goal to reach and to look forward to, then you can work towards it to make it happen. It's not going to happen overnight, but just, you have to be patient, because building wealth does take time, and we know that. So, but the DIME method is really a great tool to use to help people understand how much they really need to protect their family. And because, like you say, it is still our responsibility to take care of our responsibility. I love to say that all the time to people, because they think, oh, I'm dead, I'm gone, it doesn't matter. Oh, so you want to leave your family impoverished instead of enriched. Okay. But yeah, I know I'm just taking care of my family, and I'm thankful for this vehicle, this campaign that's educated me to be able to do so. So thanks. That's all I wanted to share today.
Thank you so much, Ms. Swan. You're absolutely right. And I tell people all the time, you have insurance. You're so right. You can have insurance all you want, but the question is, do you have enough? Right. That's the question we should ask ourselves. Do we have enough? Right? There's no such thing as too much insurance. Right? There's no such thing.
Right. Being underinsured is just as bad as, not having any.
Yeah, seriously. Like we command you that you have some, but the question is, do you have enough? Right? I even be honest, I don't have enough. That's why I'm getting that increase. I want to make sure that each one of my kids get a milli, and not just my kids. Shoot, I told you, I want to make sure that if God forbid something happens to me, right? This beautiful lady right here next to me going to be having that new man in that house looking like, damn, this man was amazing. Every time you sleep in that room, he got to thank me.
You're funny. Like my husband, he's done, like, we did our house and then, keep adding on to it and everything. And, you do have those thoughts like, is another woman going to come in here when I'm gone? What's she
Right?
going to do? But you just know she's going to be appreciative of what y'all have acquired and what y'all have done. So that's funny.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be that guy. He going to remember me. You'll always remember me. Let me see. Tiffany, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Just wanted to share real quick. Love the money talk this morning, the dime method. Love the way that you shared it and broke it down and made it more practical and gave practical examples. The example that I love the most is how you can show somebody whether or not they're being responsible or irresponsible when it comes to their money decisions just by using the dime method. So I thought that was cool without, you saying you're so irresponsible, if that makes sense, directly to the.
Yep. I think you muted.
Yeah, the other thing I just wanted to say was you talked about having enough in place to cover your child's college tuition. God forbid something happens to you. But what if nothing happens to you, right? And you don't want to take out a loan to pay for your child's college education. Maybe they did get scholarships and you do have funds in place. Can you, extract funds from that policy, if you have the right one, to cover the remaining balance for that child's tuition?
Yeah. Right? Now, even imagine this, right? Because this is another thing that a lot of people don't know about life insurance, right? Absolutely, yes. You can take money from there, right? Because let's say the child take out say you had this thing for 10 years, right? And the child went off to school now that they're 18. Depending on what degree they get, 5 years after that. Now this is a total of 15 years. You now surpass the surrender period. And now whatever money's inside of it, you could either, depend on which one you got set up, you could either take a tax-free withdrawal or a tax-free loan. And you use that to leverage and pay off the balance of the debt, depending on what you save, of course. But better yet, like I said, two things a child must have when they're just born: a social security and a life insurance policy. Because a child could get a policy at the age of 14 days old. As soon as because that's how many days it takes for the social security numbers to be produced. It's anywhere from 8 to 14 days. The minute a child has a social security, they qualify to get their own coverage. And the coverage amount is based upon half of what the parents have. So that's why you want to have a big policy. So that way when your child is born, you could get half the coverage amount of what you have, which open up the 7 pay, so you could dump more money inside of it and save for that child's college education. Oh man, you guys got me talking too deep now. I'm giving y'all game. See, that's game right there. This is what they don't tell you.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I just wanted to say that, the education that's provided at WSB is just so helpful. I know that, like, I have a relative that sold life insurance and, approached me over a year ago, talking about life insurance. And I'm like, wait, I'm in my 20s. Like, what do I need life insurance for? Or I can't budget that in right now. And after being educated by WSB, now I understand the importance of owning life insurance and see how, vital it is to have. So I think that's one of the things that makes this, the method that we use here so much better, is because there's a lot of people that are walking around thinking it's something that they don't need or that they can't afford, but us educating them on why it's important for everyone to have life insurance and how they can work on their own finances and budgeting to make sure that it's something that they're able to afford and prioritize, is a very important task. So I'm grateful that I was introduced to WSB and that I'm getting this education as well, because I think that I could have been one of those people who got way into their age and didn't have life insurance or didn't have appropriate life insurance, because I thought, oh, I have my group life insurance from my job. I didn't even know how much it was. I just knew that I had life insurance. And the funny thing is, I actually looked it up recently, and it was $10,000. And $10,000 cannot cover my student loans. So it didn't even cover all of the debt that I have. So it's important for us to know this information and to know exactly how much we need to have. And as you guys have already said, like, having more is better than not having enough. So, great money talk. This is very informative.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, your job only give you about 1 to 3 years in coverage, and it's a group term insurance.
Yeah, but 10,000 is not like that. Can't
That's not
cover
even
it.
1 year.
Yeah, that can't cover me for a year.
Right. See, guys, that's why when I hear people say, "Oh, I got insurance," don't when people say they have insurance, just ask them the following question: do you have enough?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Do you know how to calculate if you have enough? Right? And they will tell you no. Teach them the dime method. That's the moment where you teach somebody something.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because at that very moment, teach them it and say, hey, I know, right? Because many people don't know this. And it's up to us to teach them. All right? So that's the reason why, guys, we're always inviting people to come and learn. To come and learn the 4 steps to financial freedom. It's time we learn. It's time we put ourselves in the position to learn the 4 steps to financial freedom. Because if we don't start learning this, how are we going to start winning the money game? How? How are we going to start winning? And we got to put ourselves in a winning position. All right? So, any other questions or comments before we close out?
This is Swan. It is Life Insurance Awareness Month, September. So if you're a campaigner, to definitely advertise that on your social media. And let's see, we can help a lot of families get that insurance in place because we know how important it is. Thank you.
Absolutely. Big month this month. That is so true. We have Miss Beverly Williams. Good morning, Miss Beverly.
Good morning. I have one question. Small question. Is what is term insurance?
Oh, you're breaking up. Hello? Miss Beverly, you there? I don't know. Are you guys able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Keyon. Can't hear Miss Beverly though.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And that's
Oh,
she just left the call. Something happened. Her phone dropped.
yeah, it looked like her phone dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I have to. Okay. If anything, I'll call her. But yeah. So with that said, guys, because we gotta go get ready for the 10 o'clock now. We have our 4 steps to financial freedom today at 10 a.m., 12 p.m., and 6 p.m. today, where we'll have these teaching sessions about financial literacy, and we'll be talking about concepts on the build. So tomorrow we'll be talking about the 10-20 formula and the 50-30-20 budgeting formula. You don't want to miss that. And I break that down in a T. You're going to learn how to use 4 simple boxes to master your budgets. All right? 4 simple boxes to master your budget and literally knock it out of the park. All right? So, with that said, guys, thank you all for tuning in as always. And let's go out there and start winning the money game. So, the count of 3, let's all whoosh out. 1, 2, 3. Let's whoosh, guys.
Whoa.
Whoosh.
Push.
World
World
team. One
team.
team.
One
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 team.
team,
dream.
One
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 dream.
dream,
One
system.
one
system.
One
One
system,
cause.
cause.
one cause.
Woo!
Woo!
Everyone have a great day.
Have a good
Have
day,
a blessed day,
everybody.
everybody. God bless.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
There's no life without you. Ain't no one like you. There's no life without life. Ain't no